What's up? It's Jeremy Picker from Amber Creative.
This is Deanna with In the Zoning and Print Girl Mafia.
This is Ray Weiss with Printing United Alliance.
You're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
The best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Fashion to the people.
Hey folks, it's Friday, October 24th. I'm Eric Campbell, sitting in for Terry Combs.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and with our Success Group and also American Print and Supply. Yeah, we're sitting here in the fishbowl at Printing United, and I love having Mr. Eric Campbell alongside me here. Terry is on an airplane right now, so
Yeah, you should be.
that would be really sketchy as far as the internet. We'll see how we do here with the internet that we've got going, but appreciate you guys checking in and saying hello. It's good to see Cindy and Ramona in the comments there, Eric. So yeah, we're going to talk about Printing United today, what we've seen. Kind of, if you're not here, we'll give you kind of the rundown. Eric's been putting the miles on the shoes here, and
Definitely wearing them out.
I've been running around like crazy from different things, and just an amazing show. So we're going to dive into some things, and you guys ask questions, right? What do you want to see, and we'll figure it out. So
Yeah. And honestly, I'd say the show has been not only very interesting to us, but interesting to everybody else. We've got news coming up here.
Yep.
And as we get to that, we realize this is all fresh, right off the floor from Printing United. Certainly, we will try and get your comments as we can, but whatever we do, we absolutely want to make sure that we get a chance to bring Teresa Hagel in from ASI.
Yes.
She was so kind as to record our news last night from the hotel here live. We were all just kind of making it happen on the floor as best we can. But with that, you want to get to the news?
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi everyone, it's Teresa Hagel with ASI Media, and I'm here in sunny Orlando reporting from the Printing United Expo. I'm here with my colleague Brendan Menapace, as well as the amazing editorial team at Printing United Alliance. This week, all of my news comes straight from the show. First up, we have a class that I actually taught about busting the 7 top myths that printers have about the promotional products industry. Essentially, we look at 7 common misconceptions that printers have about entering promo, thinking that perhaps it won't have a strong ROI or that it will cost a lot to enter this new industry. Both of those things are not true, and we kind of go through all of these myths in the story, which you can check out on ASI Central. Second up, we have a story about actionable sustainability steps that apparel, decorators, and more can take. This is a panel that Cassie Green moderated, and my colleague Brendan wrote the story up. But some of the highlights of this class, true sustainability in apparel goes beyond the fabric choices. It includes ethical sourcing, thoughtful decoration, and minimizing transportation emissions throughout the supply chain. Incremental changes like switching to LED lighting or reducing unnecessary shipping can have significant long-term impact on both the environment and business operations. Also touched on in this session, extended producer responsibility laws and OSHA regulations are evolving, especially in states like California, which is signaling a broader shift that businesses must prepare for. So it was a really good session, and I think that people who are interested in sustainability will get a lot out of the recap. And finally, we have a story about the top 10 growth mistakes that printers make and how to avoid them. This was a session that was led by Colin Sinclair McDermott, who's also known as the online print coach. He drew on more than 2 decades of experience to give practical pointers on how to grow your printing businesses the right way. Again, as with the myth story, I'm not going to go through all 10 of his points, but to recap, He urged printers to set clear, SMART goals, know their financial metrics, and shift from generic marketing to solution-based selling tailored to client needs. It's been a great show so far, and it's not over quite yet. So I'm excited to see what the final day of Printing United Expo brings. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for sharing the news. She's been here on the show floor as well, so some great stuff that she shared there, and we will make sure to get all those links onto the page when we post the show for the podcast side of things. So, yeah, and I guess the other thing that we didn't share, Eric, is no secret sauce today. Dan Clement was going to be on with us this week, but obviously he's here at the show as well, busy. Couldn't get his computer in here and all that. So stay tuned for some secret sauce from Dane coming up soon. But let's do the housekeeping here. Oh, or do we need to do the dad joke first? Where do you want to go?
You know, people would be disappointed if we don't do the dad joke. We might as well go ahead and give it a shot. So, all right, folks, let's go ahead and at least give the dad joke a shot while we're here. Let's get into it.
All right, Eric, this is one of my tried and true ones. So, Eric, I don't know if you knew this. I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I turned myself around. Now you get to see the head shake live. This is awesome.
This is usually what you get from the corner is the full head slap, the head shake.
Absolutely.
I may or may not have heard this one a few times before.
You may or may not. Like I said, tried and true. Used over and over again. All right, you guys, thank you for going with my dad joke this morning. But before we dive in, you guys, I just want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We do need your voices. We would love to have the regulars participate in our show intros. Just go to osg.link/intro and read a few sentences and be a part of every show. And as Terry would say, don't be left out.
Yeah.
And then we are always looking for new guests as well. You don't get into the 600 plus episodes and not need to ask for guests, maybe even beg from time to time. But if you or anyone else you know would like to join us, just head over to calendly.com/2, the number 2, regular guys, and you can book a future episode there. Or if you want to just reach out to us, you can email us at info@tworegularguys.com with your show ideas and send them our way. Now, if you are listening to the podcast version of this show, we'd appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts. We are everywhere on all of the podcast outlets out there. So wherever you do your podcast listening, just give us a review. Share it with your friends. And if you are watching us live, we already have some questions in there from Ramona. And if you're watching us live, please jump into the comments and questions. So we made Ramona giggle out loud, Eric. There we go.
Your standards are low.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. You must be even more tired than we are.
Yeah. All right. Well, Eric, let's get into the show. Actually, I think Ramona's question is a great place to start.
She has a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read that off.
Yep.
Ramona came in and said, give an overview or comparison between Printing United and, let's say, Impressions Expo.
Yep.
And to that end specifically, she says, are they similar? Are there differences like the classes? And I'll say one thing we should know, because our good friend here, Eric Montgomery, was presenting at this show.
Yep.
So how do you feel about the classes?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. The scope, right? Like, I've talked to so many people that have no idea what we do in the t-shirt world, right? And so how do they get education across the board? So I think they've done a really good job with that. You know, they've got their traditional class track I had an opportunity to speak a couple times yesterday and the day before.
Yeah.
Plus, you can probably hear it behind us. You got Marshall Atkinson back there right now doing a session. So they also have education kind of sprinkled throughout the show floor.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the apparel zone back there, you have the
Live theater.
Apparelist live theater happening.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I think education-wise, man, they pull out all the stops, and you can. I mean, I was talking to somebody that was learning about mergers and acquisitions in one of the classes. Like, so you go across the board, you get into some of the technical details and learning about that. Obviously, lots of classes and panels and things on DTF for us apparel folks, right? So, yeah, that's education-wise, I'd say Printing United has done a fantastic job, and I think the sheer scope is what would make it different in a lot of ways, if you're comparing or contrasting.
Show too. For everybody who doesn't understand, if you haven't looked at Printing United at all, you have to realize this brings together all the different types of print. So we're talking about all the manners of paper printing and hard goods and UV and of course DTF, of course UV DTF, of course. I mean, any kind of printing you can imagine, it is under this roof right now. So if you come here, I've always shown people, I showed people the back at home at Brilliance when we were talking about me heading out here, the floor plan, and they're like, wow, that floor plan's huge. And then I made a little red circle. I said, and there's where most of the apparel people are going to be. It was all in about 1/4 of the show. So this is an incredibly broad scope. However, like you say, it's amazing how they've managed to pull that all together and provide comprehensive education for everybody.
Absolutely.
And beyond that, we also have the iLearning folks are out here answering questions. There's that going on. And like Aaron said, we have there's free sessions from sponsors in the Apparelist Live booth, which is really awesome. The theater out there was great. And honestly, I've seen people around doing little educational sessions in booth, just like you might assume. What I would say is, Aaron's completely right. The scope is massive. It's very different. You're going to see kinds of printing you didn't think about. And certainly the great thing about that, too, is you're going to mix with people who are in production that you may never have been able to talk to before, and you get a really interesting kind of different range of possibilities with making relationships out here.
Definitely.
And I know that's a little different to say, but I mean, Impressions is awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I love it because it is all us. It's really our place to be. It's where the apparel decorator's going to go. I would never skip that, but this is really made to bring us all together, and they've done an incredible job. They're intentional about that here at Printing United. They talk about it. They call it convergence. Right, and it's bringing. And so I think in a lot of ways, though, Eric, I would say to any decorator out there, make a Printing United trip one time at least, at the very least, because to be able to see all the possibilities, see that we're part of. I mean, like I'm looking out this window right now at the HP booth, right, and it's massive, and they got all the people here, and so you kind of get that scope. They're printing on big machines and things like that. You saw over in the AGFA booth, the poster robot basically that like 3 passes was doing these huge posters, right? So just to get to see, I think the scope is definitely worth. And then the fact that now you're talking to new people, you're building new relationships. Not only have they done a great job with the education stuff, but after hours stuff and different opportunities. We haven't talked about Media Day yet, so. I mean, that's an entire thing unto itself. The fact that there's access to media and that people are, literally just able to get into these product launches and interesting information that's been provided and set up. So it's like we've seen a lot of new stuff coming out here. In fact, we've also seen people in the decoration space. I know Melco launched their summit stuff here. So usually you see a lot of things launching, obviously in Long Beach in January, but Melco launched their new big machine control stuff here at Printing United. So it's this is definitely a show to go to. And I'll say, from someone who didn't get to go for a while, and our friend and yours, Aaron, helped me get out here and helped me also gave me the impetus to get out here. I've been absolutely
kind of pushed him.
Hey, pushed me, but I was pretty happy to get here. And I've been blown away by all the stuff going on, and let alone, you could just stay in the apparelist corner and be happy here, but when you get out beyond it, you just get such a richer experience of the entire kind of print world.
Yep. And so speaking of Media Day, that was an awesome day on Tuesday. I've been asked over the last 2 years to be the MC of that, and so I have a blast with that. Just great people, but they really embrace bringing media out. So that way there is a buzz around this show,
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen without them being intentional about it, right? And so Media Day plays a big part in that. But what I wanted to bring up, Eric, was the slide that I sent you. So the Printing United folks did a study asking about basically the future outlook study that they do.
Yeah.
And in the apparel decorating space, they kind of gave a percentage of what people were looking to get into to grow their business.
Yeah.
And I think it was number 2 or 3 on the list was
it was embroidery.
Yeah, I was
what was 46% of people who were intending to make capital investments were intending to make them in embroidery in our segment. So
I was really shocked by that, to be honest with you, because traditionally, I'll be honest, that Printing United has not been a place where you see a lot of embroidery.
Yeah, this is true.
It is printing, right? Not poking.
That said, what I'm going to say is there was embroidery on the floor.
Tons of it.
Certainly, there's tons of it.
Yep.
I think there's room for more. There were definitely some absences that I was surprised by. At the same time, most of the major manufacturers of machines were on the floor. Not necessarily as much of the other support stuff around it. Not as many of the digitizing houses, not as many of the software companies necessarily.
Yeah.
But there was a fair amount of embroidery on the floor. And so I was kind of cool to see that. And the great thing was I got to ride along a little bit and hang out with, I was over at the Magic Touch booth where we have Katie Woodman, who you will know from the show. And also if you've been in any of my courses, we recently did a Technique Toolkit course together.
Yep.
Or a DAX. If you're a DAX person, then absolutely you've seen Katie teach. She was riding along with them with SWF machines. And I saw people who are from worlds of print who absolutely, they're coming in the business suits, the guys that we kind of always expect, we're like, that's a wide format guy. That's the guy who's coming from the print side of the world, the paper printing side of the world. And they were stopping by and asking about adding small embroidery solutions in-house to their print shops. And they were asking her questions. I jumped in on some stuff. I also saw that going on when we were over at Hirsch, too. So there were people from all walks of life mixing, and I think embroidery got a pretty fair showing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not bad.
I'd say so. So I think, in a way, I think you answered Ramona's question there, this next one. And I guess we should probably say...
Well, she said, what is there for me? I can tell you a couple things. I will say, this is not going to be like Impressions necessarily. You're right. It's not going to be as embroidery focused. The education really didn't have that going on, but it was also a broader scope education. Though what I will say is some of that is also dictated by what sponsors want to put on, depending on what's there. So if you want to see more of that, talk to your machine manufacturers, the people who are distributing here, who are on the floor, because they're also helping to set that schedule a little bit. That's something that you should do, is talk to those folks. And I mean, talk to Printing United. They can't do everything we want them to do, but they certainly have made a really good attempt to make sure we're all represented very well.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'll say also the other thing, speaking of the apparel zone, they had this passport program where people were walking around getting passports stamped to do these individual decoration options at different booths. They had Stalls was doing it, and I think Hirsch had one of them, and Lane 7 Apparel was there, and they were all stops on this kind of passport journey.
Yep.
And they included a lot of the different types of printing. I mean, definitely you were seeing direct to film, definitely you were seeing embroidery, you were seeing, screen print was on the floor as usual, but in that set there was a lot of focus on digital here for sure.
Yep.
But we all got represented in that, and the apparel zone did a very good job. Like, that apparelist did an awesome job of kind of setting it up where people got exposure to that, as well as kind of what we expected to be here, which is a lot of print on demand and digital.
Yeah.
Which you can't go up and down an aisle without DTF and print on demand.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's say good morning to some more folks too. I want to make sure that we're getting all of our live folks. So back to Keegster. That's my son Keegan. Welcome, Keegan. Great to see you, buddy. And we've got Lisa Shaw checking in. Good morning, Lisa. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see here. Doug. Martha Taylor. Good morning, Martha. Thanks for being here. And then we got Doug saying, I went to Printing United last year in Vegas. It was a good show. Definitely different. Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. What else we got? Trying to see how we go here. Ramona says thanks. Let's see here. There is a game out there where all the characters have embroidered animation to give the game a unique storyboard feel. Interesting.
I have seen that. Yeah,
you
they
have seen that.
captured
Interesting.
the animation out of frames that were embroidered. It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
awesome.
I've never seen that. All right, Keegan, you'll have to share that with me, buddy.
For real, it's cool.
And then we've got Brian here from Realistic Replicas. He's jealous for sure. Couldn't make it there, but any new 3D full-color printers like Mamaki's 3D UJ?
I mean, Mamaki is here, but
Yep.
I'm going to fully admit, as an embroidered dude who was not looking at that, I did not go check that out.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but I know Mamaki is here right now, so
Okay.
I would assume they probably have their latest and greatest.
Interesting. And then I did hear, I haven't seen it yet, but I did hear that there was I don't know if it's like printer, it's a 3D printer that I heard was like printing like life-size stuff.
No. We actually got to see it. I had one of our wonderful and brilliant support people out. She came out and was walking around with me. We went and saw that thing, and I mean, the build volume was like the size of the inside of a VW Bug. Like, it was massive. The build volume on that 3D printer was huge, and they were putting out these like 5 foot tall, I think it was like an ice cream cone. They had these
really?
statues that were outside of it, like these big urns that were 5-6 foot tall. They were huge.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're massive 3D printers, and those were full color. So that was interesting. But yeah,
They are full color.
That
Okay.
one that I saw had or at least they did. They might have also done some treatment on the samples that were out there.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right.
They had pretty massive build volumes, and honestly, you can't turn around without seeing something of the sort.
Yeah, yeah. So Brian at Realistic Replicas actually prints fish,
nice.
like again realistic replicas,
figured.
right?
I figured.
Also has a line of clothing that goes along with that as well too. But yeah, so I'll have to do a little more digging. We've got about 4 or 5 hours left of the show, so
We might be able to hike another quarter of it that we haven't seen.
yeah. So
huge, man.
I'll see what I can find, Brian. So that's a good question.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit, Eric, is just some of the takeaways. So I was really, again, fortunate to get to share in a couple presentations, and my kind of warm up typically is just to, hey, how's it going? How's your feet feeling? That kind of stuff. But then I always like to ask, okay, well, what have you seen? What's your biggest takeaway so far?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I got an interesting answer. I thought it was, and rightfully so. Printing United has leaned in heavily into AI. They've got a whole AI pavilion, which is right behind us here.
That's what we're sitting in front of.
And they've also launched a new AI consulting service. So you can check that out at Printing United. And so they've really leaned in. But the comment from the guy was, I need to embrace AI.
Wow.
So I don't know. Let's speak to that for just a second, Eric. What's your thoughts on that? And I'll share my thoughts after you.
I mean, it's a little harder, I think, in the embroidery world. We certainly have a disconnect that's not the same as digital print, because people who are doing digital print, you can really envision and kind of make happen a pretty hands-free case for bringing in art that gets printed directly. And so people are doing things with AI where they're bringing in art pretty directly. They're going straight to digital from that, and they're going straight to customers. That kind of world, I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in that myself, and in embroidery, I don't know where we fit in that. Certainly,
From an art standpoint,
at least. What some of the things can be done from AI, I think, in the terms of organization, in the terms of sometimes idea generation, sometimes just working on the rest of the business portion that is not art supplying. I like that stuff a little better, I'm going to admit.
Yep.
And also because of the range of decoration I'm in. It just isn't necessarily as interesting for us, because the ultimate thing people keep on wanting from AI for in the embroidery world is to go directly to a digitized file directly onto a machine, and we are just not anywhere near there right now.
Okay, all right.
Not in any way that I know of, unless it's hidden behind closed doors that I haven't seen yet.
Yep, absolutely.
So for our world, it's a little different. I do see some pushback from some folks who are just no AI. I have a lot of designer friends who don't love it, but then we have designers, Marshall is back there teaching, and he comes from a design background, and he uses it. And Dane, we had Dane on all the time on Secret Sauce.
Yep.
He's our unofficial official art guy, and
official.
Yeah. I know. I always joke around about that.
Yep.
He used to be our unofficial art guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he brings AI in and makes good use of it. So there's definitely places for it, but I think there are sometimes you'll see a pretty heavy stress on going direct, like AI direct to some sort of digital tool chain right out of an e-commerce suite and onto a product. That I don't know. I still want to see how we develop that and see if that's everything it's cracked up to be. But I do see people feeling they have to get on both sides of this thing. Both AI as helping you with your schedule, your organization, your paperwork, and AI as or origination for art, which is what everybody seems to think of it as, in a basic way.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think the interesting part about AI, right, like you said, there's been plenty of conversation around the art side of things.
Yeah, of course.
But I do feel like across the board, all decorators could potentially embrace it a little bit more in a more specific way, right? So I actually recently did a Small Business Saturday episode talking about utilizing AI while still keeping your voice, right? And keeping that authenticity of who you are, who your company is, and how important that is, right? Like I think that really builds and drives trust, right? So, how can you utilize AI in a way that makes it so your voice doesn't get lost in it, but the grunt work, so to speak, gets you there a lot faster. Like, for example, Rob and I were on the Apparelist live stage yesterday. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, and we were talking about kind of how to tame the Wild West of DTF, right? And one of the things we talked about is just making sure that you had really good processes and structure, standard operating procedures, and when you're a small business owner, I don't know if I have time to do that, right? Like, but the reality is you don't have time not to do that.
Yeah.
And so, Rob just said, just jot down, the way he uses it is he just jots down some notes, kind of gets a general idea of where he's heading, kind of bang, bang, bang. And then he throws that into ChatGPT or another large language model. And from there, gets a better standard operating procedure. But it's not like, okay, throw a couple things at it and then you've got this finished piece. It's throw some things at it, give it, and then make sure that you go through it and fine tune it, right? Get the steps right, because it still at the end of the day is just a computer that is regenerating, regurgitating, so to speak, in a lot of ways. So it gets better all the time, but I think it's something that we all need to be.
We can't ignore it. I think that's kind of something that we're seeing here. Ramona says that I don't think we're going to have a choice. AI is here; it's not going away. I think that's true, honestly. And I'm certainly not one of the people who's saying you can't use it, don't use it.
Yeah.
What I often say is it is really great as a starting point or as a midpoint for people who are trying to work something out. And the other argument I've always had is if you really are in a small decorator situation where you don't have a design budget to speak of, I can't tell somebody who's doing a logo or a mascot logo for a rural team that we've got 12 kids on the team and it's one person trying to make this thing happen on a shoestring budget, not to use an AI generator to make that happen, because they're fully competent in making something that looks decent.
Sure.
Obviously, the art is good. We can't say that's not a thing. But I've actually been more excited about stuff like you're talking about, where I have fed, a big chunk of text. Like I'll have a workbook that I'm working on for education. I feed a big chunk of text into it and say, can you give me some key points? And then I review the key points and say, yeah, that's pretty good. I can use that for building study guides. Or I like to use Notebook LM, which is kind of my favorite of those tools for that stuff, where I can get some summaries, or I can use it when I'm trying to intake information to help digest some of the information coming to me, and then I just verify it by going through that information on a longer term basis after the fact. But I find that's really useful, and I've seen some people using it to great effect, doing things like standard operating procedures and other kinds of materials for their business. And so I think that's really interesting too. It's not always external stuff or the art stuff. It can be internal stuff. It can be organizational stuff. And all of that can take away, as you say, some of the grunt work. And that's where I think that's, for me, that's the place I like it best. But I think that's, that's how it is.
For sure.
We also have from Gizmo Plans here says, I've been digging deep into AI. You'll be surprised what you can do now once you dig in and know how to use it correctly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's once you are good at prompt writing and you kind of know how to feed it, and especially now that we have the AIs are able to take in more information, you can feed it images you've created. You can feed it documents you've created in a way that digests.
You got to check out this backpack that's going by. puppy in the back. Puppy on board. Sorry, I got distracted by a cute puppy in a backpack walking by.
There's been several support animals on the floor today.
I love it.
All right.
Well, yeah. So, and then just Ramona's earlier comment about Chappie is the name of her Chat GPT. I've tended to lean towards Chuck for mine. I don't know why, but Steve. So another one of my friends calls it Steve. It's like, hey, all right.
I do not personalize my AIs. People.
All right. I'm extremely nice to my AI. And,
I will say that. I always say that because when Skynet does eventually go
take
live,
over, absolutely.
I'm going to be one of the pets.
That's right.
I don't want to get eliminated immediately. I'd like to actually be kept around. So
yeah, exactly.
I always say thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Thank you,
It's just
Skynet.
right. Thank you, Skynet. If you're listening right now.
Which they are. All right. So yeah, I think that was kind of an interesting takeaway,
Yeah, for sure.
And you're definitely again seeing a lot of that embracing of that here.
Of course.
And then I'm just trying to think what else. Again, I've been kind of running back and forth between the seminar rooms and the apparel zone, and so I haven't seen as much of the floor. I will say that I am extremely proud and excited of what we launched there at American Print and Supply.
Yeah.
We have our Sentinel cutter is now officially in the world, and it is as far as we know, the first vision-based DTF-made cutting solution, and we haven't completely optimized it all the way up yet. I don't think we're still kind of. We've had it for a couple of weeks before it got in a truck to come here. So, how are you, sir? And so anyhow, we've basically haven't had a chance to fully optimize it yet, and yet we've kind of paired it up with our Kraken solution, which is our 650 square foot an hour printing solution. And so far, the Kraken can't keep up with even the under-optimized Sentinel. So we think we've counted for sure 750 transfers an hour.
Wow.
But we think it can go even faster.
Nice.
And so if you're somebody in the DTF world and you are tired of, time to throw the scissors away.
Cutting gang sheets.
Cutting gang sheets, right? And if you are a transfer provider, it also perf cuts, so you can still ship on rolls, and then your customers don't have to dig out of it. So, sorry, I got distracted by. Cindy says, I must be the only one that does not name my machines, so I guess I would not name AI.
Yeah, I actually don't name machines either, and I know I
man.
am not. I know I'm no fun. I don't name my machines either. I hate to say that. Like, they are tools. I love them very dearly, but they are tools. I don't tend to name them. Though I also admit, if I see a derelict machine, in fact, this is how I became digitizer. I saw a computer in the corner of the operating stations where I was at, and I'm like, why is that computer over there under the under a dust cover? And for some reason, I do personalize them, even though I don't name them. I'm like, oh, it's lonely. It needs attention. Somebody should be using that tool. It's meant for a thing, and it's not being used.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I do feel that way about the machines, but I don't tend to name them. I will say, being around here, and absolutely, I have to admit, it was really cool to see. I have not been a big DTF person at first. I think I got a little converted over in Aaron's booth, because over there at American Print Supply, they had some really cool prints where they're doing the best with making that art just absolutely pop and using shirt color, which is so awesome. But getting to see that stuff take off in a way that I feel like is a little more sustainable. It feels like some of the churn has quieted down, even though there's a lot of DTF on the floor. I think we're starting to see strong people coming up with nice solutions, and it looks a little more finished than we've ever seen it, I think, to me. So,
cool.
Really cool to see that on the floor. And also, like I said, there are just absolutely technological marvels at every turn. You really cannot move anywhere without seeing it. I mean, we were seeing video of robots who were doing a put-on and take-off of shirts from pallets on screen printing machines. That was crazy. So they were loading and unloading shirts. And we were seeing that on top of all the rest of the stuff in the print world, which automation in the paper printing world is massive. Like, literally, it's like a no-touch solution. People were coming out at the end getting finished products, and that was just about it. You were just feeding the machine, and that's it. So we've seen just an incredible stuff there.
Yeah. In fact, over in the Rock booth, they have that impress.
Oh, that.
So not only does it automate all that, a lot of that stuff, you can have it automate, but it's actually for pressing DTF transfers, and it will automatically place your stuff as well. So actually, at American Print Supply, we just partnered up with Rock.
Awesome.
didn't get partnered up in time to get one of their machines in our booth, but so we're kind of marry that whole line all together, right? So if you're looking to really crank out some transfers, you start with the Kraken as your printer, we go to the Sentinel as a cutter, and then we've got the Rock Impress that can. The next bottleneck is pressing. Let's be honest, right? Like you can only press.
I'll say I walked up to that, and I was, like I said, with the support person who was touring around, and she was looking at. She's like, "Oh, is that screen printing?" And I thought she was looking over at the other side of the Rock booth. And I turned to go, "Oh yeah, it's a carousel." And I'm looking behind my back. I didn't really notice it. Then I turned around and noticed what it's doing, and I was like, "That Impress machine is quick, efficient, and it was kicking out folded shirts on this other end." By the time they had it done, they had it set up with a full kind of automation setup here, and it was impressive to watch it run. I think we're finally seeing, because a lot of the argument always has been that screen print is just going to kick out more pieces quicker over time, but I don't know, man. We're fighting for it now. I think there's absolutely some solutions that are really interesting on the floor.
Definitely. All right, Eric. Well, we're getting actually towards the end of our time. We got a late start, and so we're going to get kicked out of the booth here soon. I do want to tell one other quick story.
Let's do it.
That I told Terry and Eric last night while we got a chance to finally hang out, and that was cool to get a chance to just sit down and have some fun, hash up some old stories and things like that. But we are just. I was blown away. So I got an opportunity. I was asked to be at the board of directors reception on Tuesday night, and the outgoing chairperson, she was going through a list of kind of the accomplishments and things that had happened, and she starts going through the list, a little cheering up front, but she was kind of motoring through a list, so everybody kind of held their applause for a bit. And she got towards the end of her list, and she says, "We were also nominated for 6 Reggie Awards." And I was like, Reggie Awards? Cool. Obviously we know how important this is for folks. We've heard this over the time. But the thing that blew me away is in this room full of all these kind of, higher end people in the printing world, they all cheered after hearing that, the Reggies are something that they were nominated for at Printing United. So they're very proud of those nominations. And so with that being said, Eric, we are actually in the midst of nomination season. It's been a little light, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. So it's time to turn up the volume. Make sure you get the word out. Go to tworegularguys.com/Reggies, and you can nominate people. You'll see the terms and conditions and the rules and whatnot. But basically, we need you guys to get out there and start nominating people. We are excited to have the 13th annual Reggies happening this year, and so we need your help to start getting. Ramona says I voted. Yeah, I do. I get a little notification when the nominations come in, and I saw that Ramona had voted. So thank you.
What I was going to say is, Ramona, you have been one of the people who's jumped out and shared the link with everybody. So thank you very much. As a regulator, you're definitely doing the work. So we appreciate it. And everybody, if you really want to help us out, I would absolutely recommend that you start sharing this out, letting everybody know. It means a lot. I mean, I know certainly I've stood back. I've gotten lots of Reggie Awards over the time, which is lovely, but hey, we want to give people the Reggie Awards. We don't want to get them. And it's been really awesome to see more and more new people coming in. We've always met new people. I mean, Terry always says this. He's like, he always learns about something new. He learns about a new product, or he meets new people whenever we see these Reggie nominations. Get out there and nominate your favorite people, your favorite products, your favorite trade shows, whatever it is. We have something that covers it in our category. So please get out there and nominate. Get that in. Make sure that you let everybody know, and keep on pushing that link where you can. We really do appreciate it.
And I just posted it again. I think maybe that one's clickable. It's a little hard sometimes. If
Got it.
Apologize. Eric's letting me touch buttons. Well, probably not letting me, but I am anyhow.
A little hard to get him to. We'll admit, here live with the kind of strapped together setup we have sometimes when we're doing live shows. We do what we can, so hopefully you guys have gotten something enjoyable out of it. Certainly we've enjoyed getting to come to you live from the floor, and we've very much enjoyed Printing United.
Absolutely. So if you guys need us to check anything out today, make sure that you shoot us an email, info@tworegularguys.com. I'll check that out when I'm walking out on the floor. Happy to bring any other information, and maybe we'll have a little bit more of a wrap up next week as well. I do not recall what is on our our list for next week, but we'll figure that out. All right. Well, anything else, you guys? Any other questions? Again, we're going to need to probably wrap up here. I can see my friends looking, saying, "Hey, we're up." Eric, any last thoughts before we close out?
Last thoughts, I'll just say it's been really good to be here, and it was great to see all the people we got to see. We got to see a lot of our industry friends, and it was wonderful to meet all the people who were new to us. So it was just a great time mixing it up here, and I can't recommend enough that, like Aaron said, you at least try one time in your decorating career. You need to come out to Printing United and see what there is for you, because there's something here you'll want to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so next year, Printing United will be in Las Vegas.
All right.
2026. So you go to printingunited.com and you can check that out and get signed up to get notifications when registration comes open. And I know we'll be sharing that when it comes around next year, but basically late October again. So just put that on your wish list to get to Las Vegas next year, I would say. Okay. All right. Well, Eric, I think Alan says it was great seeing you. Definitely was great to see Alan. Some cool stuff coming from Alan too, so we won't share it now. It was confidential, but when he's ready to share it, hopefully he will bring it to the two regular guys. We will definitely get that information out there for you guys. And Brian, appreciate you tuning in. And again, let us know what you're looking to see. We'll try to get a little more information and to share it back with you guys for sure. So anything else, Eric?
I think the last thing I'll say, for those of you who are very used to me not doing a show when we're out at the shows, there's a live replay of a show. I recorded something, so for the first time ever, the Take Up is actually going to be on while I'm not there.
There you go.
So, you guys have been asking for some pre-recorded content when I can't make it. You finally get it. So the class that I just taught recently, in the Technique Toolkit, I had Building Up the Beast, which is a class about how to digitize mascots.
Oh, cool.
I've essentially given you an abridged version of that with some design replay that's going to play in the normal slot this afternoon. So I usually wouldn't promo at one of the shows, but I'm very proud of myself that I actually got it scheduled and ready to rock. You guys will get a live premiere. You can chat with each other, but unfortunately, I will not be present.
All right. Well, Keegan, thank you for sending me that video when you get a chance. Rena, great to see you here. And Alan says absolutely. And Ramona, very welcome. Thank you for the great questions. And thank you guys for tuning in today. So I think that's it, Eric. So until next week, I'm Aaron Montgomery. This is Eric Campbell sitting in for Mr. Terry Combs. And
that was the two regular guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Two Regular Guys. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. For more valuable insight, be sure to visit our website, 2regularguys.com, and join the conversation on our Facebook page. And hey, if you or someone you know has expertise, a unique perspective, or a story worth sharing, we'd love to have them as a guest on the show. Just reach out. Remember, success in this industry isn't just about the equipment you own or the techniques you've mastered. It's about the mindset you bring and the connections you build. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to think differently. Keep pressing on, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Two Regular Guys.